Once again, very happy to be with all of you for Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta class. Last week I wasn't here, but still we had the CC class. Can you all hear clearly? Online participants, is it very clear? Okay. Hare Krishna. So, requesting everyone to please turn on the videos. Hari Hari. So, anyone remembers what is the last verse that we discussed? What did we discuss last time? 92? 92 92 हो गया, 95 भी हो गया. We had gone beyond 100.
106 completed.
There was hint being given. I think 102.
106 completed.
Okay. So 4.106 is complete. Okay. So what was 106? We'll have a quick revision. And you want to recite with me or after me? मेरे बाद या मेरे साथ? साथ. Okay. So this is 106. Just a quick. We discussed this, but a quick recap. We'll be reciting all shlokas together, so all of you can take out your devices. So we discussed this last time that Radhikara Bhava Murti Prabhura Antara. So what is exactly the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? The heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the love of Srinath, the love that Srimati Radharani carries for Krishna. That makes the heart, that makes the core of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is our heart made of? Yes, there are 4 walls. There is pumping of blood. Another 4 chambers. Some people may have pacemaker also in heart. Yes. Of course, we are not asking the physical constitution. What is being asked is, what exactly is filled in heart? How do we come to understand what is filled in heart? जो अंदर है वही बाहर आएगा, बराबर? So what we are thinking inside, that's what we will tend to do outside. So we can clearly, okay, there is a reply, which is honest reply that has come. Lust, greed, envy, anger also. Actually, it is lag. Lust, anger, greed. That is what is there in our heart, very unfortunately. But we have to replace this with what? We have to replace this with Krishna Prem in the mood of Srimati Radharani. That is what we are aiming for. So this is the heart of Mahaprabhu that was discussed. And also, Sei Bhave Sukha Dukha Uthe Nirantara. Constantly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, sometimes happy, sometimes sad. As an extreme emotion, who does? Such a person is called bipolar. Yes, in psychological terminology, such a person is called bipolar syndrome. So now if some modern day doctors or psychiatrists, if they analyze this Chaitanya Charitamrta, they'll think, oh, I think this personality Gauranga, he has bipolar. Yes, he's sometimes crying, sometimes laughing, sometimes he's in the air, सातवें आसमान पर, sometimes he's भूमि गड़ी जाए, he's on the ground. क्या चल रहा है? क्या चल क्या रहा है? So this is one type of madness. Is it really madness? Let's find out in the next sloka. अगले श्लोक में देखते हैं. Is it actually madness? Yes. Shishalilaaya Prabhura Krishna Viraha Unmada Brahmamaya Cheshta Ara Pralapamaya Man. Okay, let us find out. What is this? Shishalilaaya Prabhura. So there is the 2 types of Leela of Mahaprabhu. There is the Aadi Leela and Shesha Leela. The first part of Mahaprabhu's life, that is how many years? The first 24 years. That's called Aadi Leela. And then the Shesha Leela is the later Leela of Mahaprabhu. That is the next 24 years. And totally Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained in this mortal material world for how many years? 48 years. So Shesha Leela refers to the second half. But even there also, Shesha Leela means the final pastimes of Mahaprabhu, the last 12 years in Jagannath Puri. That is the Shesha Leela. What happened in that Shesha Leela? Shesha Leela Prabhura Krishna Viraha. He was just exhibiting symptoms of separation from Krishna, because this is what is the bhava of Radharani, Viraha bhava. Viraha means separation. Now this bhava can be seen even in this material world. Correct? I just was traveling in a train to South India. So my wonderful devotees have very good proactive management skills. So I got RAC and devotees were confident. Arey Prabhuji ho jayega, tension mat lo. 48 hours, long back. 48 hours of RAC. RAC means what? RAC means you share the birth, like that. Okay. So usually there are two people who share, but in my case there were three of us too. That there was probably a father who was traveling with a young daughter, some teen log the, like that. So there was this grandfather, father and daughter. तो मुझे लगा बाप रे, तीन लोगों के साथ share करूंगा because they're all sitting happily. And the grandfather was very nicely sitting there talking with his grandchild, with that daughter. Very nice. I was watching. So there are emotions. There is love even in material world. ऐसा करके देख रहा था. So afterwards, grandfather just went out. And as soon as he's going out, I'll come back. Okay. Then it's fine. So he went out and he brought a cup of strawberry ice cream. Yes, strawberry ice cream for this girl. And this girl started eating like that. And she was absorbed in eating that. And suddenly the train moved. And she was eating. She was looking out and eating nicely. And after she was eating in between, she observed that grandfather is not there. Only father is there. So she first asked, where is grandfather? Says he will come. No, where is grandfather? First you show. She got a doubt. The train moved and so that was to distract her. Strawberry ice cream was to distract her. The grandfather got down and this girl threw that ice cream. She was crying. Almost next 2 hours she cried. She's not listening to anything. Father, whatever is telling, is beating her. Grandfather. Like that she was crying. So what she was experiencing? Viraha, not Krishna Baba. She's experiencing viraha, separation. So the separation is there in this material world also. But after 2 hours, she slept off. And then she got up, she was normal. She was normal. But what we find in Bhakti, there is Nirantara Viraha. Krishna Viraha Unmada. That's why, is this madness? Yes, this is madness. Unmada. Mada means what? Madness. There is Matta, madness. Pramatta, more madness. जिसको hospital में लेके जाना पड़ता है, उधर control. And Unmatta. Unmatta means what? Such degree of madness, doctor हाथ उठा दिया. Doctor says, मैं भी कुछ नहीं कर, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. अब ये भगवान के हाथ में. There are some cases like that. Yes. Where even doctors have no hope. इसका कुछ होने हो, इसका कोई इलाज नहीं, ये गया काम से. Unmatta. So that kind of unmad is this Krishna Viraha. Yes. And that is why Bhakti Tirth Maharaj often in his lectures would say the goal of life is to become madman. Yes, we know the famous pastime. Bhakti Tirth Maharaj was in ISKCON Chowpatty, he was giving a class and he said, the goal of life, everyone said Krishna Prem, everyone said going back to Godhead, just chant holy name purely, that's all right. But the goal of life is to become a madman. And everyone was stunned, shocked. They were like, Maharaj, are you okay? What happened? You would like to rephrase that? Would you like to elaborate? Would you like to explain? No, he didn't explain. He kept repeating that 3-4 times. The goal of life is to become a madman. And devotees were unable to digest. Then he said, mad for Krishna. That is, abhi theek hai. Abhi sab theek hai. So, Krishna Viraha Unmad. And then he told this, you see this, here, this Swami, this whole Radhanath Swami, he's a madman. Then Maharaj took the mic and he said, it takes one to know one. Iska matlab, he's telling that even he is madman, mad for Krishna. That is the goal. Can you imagine what kind of movement you have all joined? The goal is to make you mad, drive you crazy. Yes, and that's what happens. What was the first experience of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting japa? What did he say? Kiba mantra dilai gosai, kiba tara bala. Are what mantra you have given me, Gosai? Oh Guru, kaun sa mantra de diya? What mantra you have given? Kiba tara bal. What is the power of this mantra? Japite mantra koribe pagal. By chanting this, I become mad. Pagal ho gaya main. हम लोगों का भी यही अनुभव है ना. We also have same experience. We chant. लोग बोलते बहुत सही है. So, देख हमको भी कभी कभी लगेगा थोड़ा ज्यादा टाइम जब करेंगे अरे खत्म ही नहीं होता क्या कितना करेंगे इतना कर रहे कुछ हो नहीं रहा है nothing is happening. So थोड़ा पागल हो रहे हम लोग भी we are also getting mad. Yes, हम लोग we are becoming mad what way? Materially mad. We are materially driving crazy because we are not simple in heart. So for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra to do kirtan, One of the most important thing is Saralata. That is why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would equate Saralata with Vaishnavata. He would say, Saralata hi Vaishnavata. Because if you are simple, then it is very easy to practice Bhakti. You will progress very fast. But the problem with all of us is we are all complex. We have become complex. अरे भक्ति बहुत tough लग रहा है. अरे भक्ति tough नहीं, तू tough बन गया है. That's the problem. You become rough. You become tough. No, in material sense. Hard has become hard. Hard has become hard. That's the case. Otherwise, bhakti is simple for the simple. And then, what else is mentioned here? Udmada, Brahma Maya Cheshta. What is Brahma Maya? Brahmaya Cheshta, Ara Pralapa Mayavad. Okay. So, this particular part of Mahaprabhu, he played the role of a madman. Mahaprabhu simply felt the separation for Krishna like a madman for 12 years. Why? 12 saal. Kyun? Why did he do that? To teach that this is important. So Shesha Lila, usually when Shesha Lila, you will give the final conclusion. In the end of the lecture, what you will do? In the end of the lecture, ideally, if you are a good speaker or a good teacher, you will give conclusion. Kya karna hai? So Mahaprabhu in the end Lila, if he is performing something, what he is telling, yahi karna hai. This is what is the end. If end of your life, you are also doing what I am doing, then good. Nahi hua to all the best. You may not see Krishna. So obsession, isko kya bolte hain? Obsession. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was obsessed with Krishna. Yes. And he acted in ways which you cannot predict. Unpredictable manner. Mad people are usually unpredictable. There is no predictable behavior. Kya karega pata nahi. We don't know what he will do. So erroneous fashion, such unpredictable manner, Mahaprabhu, and he would also talk deliriously. But this talk also, vada, is pralapamaya vada. Yes, he would sometimes cry and speak, sometimes he would laugh and speak, sometimes he would not speak. Nothing, which, kai khara nahi. Nothing, that's what we say in Marathi. Kai khara nahi. Nothing is for sure. We don't know. Hare Krishna. So, now this madness and separation is further explained in one more verse. We'll see the next sloka. So, the context is given. See, Krishna, he used to in the night time. The night time in Dwarka, when Krishna went to Dwarka, and it had been a long time. Lambe samay se Krishna was in Dwarka. But even if he is in Dwarka, Radhe, Amshu, Madhumangal, Maya, Baba, this is how he would recite. And all the Dwarka Vasis, they loved Krishna profusely. They had so much love for Krishna. They used to only try one thing, but their goal of life was one thing. Their meeting, the agenda of their meeting was only one thing. Kaise bhi karke Krishna should forget Vrindavan. And accept all of us, we are such wonderful devotees. हम Krishna से इतना प्रेम करते, we love Krishna so much, Krishna should completely forget Vrindavan and just be in Dwarka. He's although physically in Dwarka, his mind, his heart, everything is in Vrindavan. इसको लिए कुछ करना पड़ेगा. Yes. So this is what Dwarka Vasis used to feel. And Krishna is Paramatma in heart. He knows everyone's feeling. So Krishna understood, अरे आप लोग ऐसा सोचते हो? अच्छा ठीक है, कुछ सिखाना पड़ेगा आप लोगों को. So that's why Dwarka Vasis and even Krishna used to respect one person. एक व्यक्ति को सभी बहुत respect करते थे. You know who is that? That person is Uddhava. And Uddhava was so much respected that Krishna, if you ask Krishna's counselor name, yes, आजकल बहुत चल रहा है चर्चा में, आपके counselor कौन है? Counselor. So even if you will ask Krishna, who is your counselor? Krishna will write Uddhava. My counselor is Uddhava. And that is why entire Dwarka Vasis had accepted Uddhava as counselor. Right? He's Brihaspati Shishya. He looks just like Krishna. His mood is also just like Krishna. His behavior is like Krishna. The way he talks is like Krishna. Very similar. But he's smarter than Krishna. Yes, he gives guidance to Krishna also. Ei Krishna bade, sei bada chatur. Who worships and Krishna becomes very intelligent. And Uddhava used to worship Krishna right from his young age. 4 years, 5 years, he used to play with Krishna dolls. Mother used to say, come for breakfast, beta. He said, no, first I will feed my Krishna. Only then I will come.
That was his consciousness right from beginning. Right? So Krishna knew that Uddhava kuch bolega to sab log maan jayenge. That's blindly people will follow. So Uddhav ko thodi jhalak dikhate hain. Let us, give a jhalak of Vrindavan Prem. To whom? To Uddhav. Let him get a glimpse and he will understand. So when Uddhava had gone, actually Krishna told Uddhava, you go and tell Gopi is not, he tells him not to worry, I'm happy. I will come someday. But Uddhava wanted to give a deep class. He was very learned, right? So he wanted to give an elaborate explanation. So he started teaching Gopis that actually Krishna is everywhere. God is everywhere. From Shastras, he started quoting. Krishna is also there as Paramatma in all of your heart. Bhagwan jo hai Paramatma ke roop mein bhi vyapi. Like that he started explaining. And as he started speaking about Krishna, the Gopis went mad. Yes, all the Vrajavasis were mad. He understood. Sab pagal hai. Yes, sab pagal. Nand Baba pagal. Yashoda Maiya pagal for Krishna. Then he went to Gopis. They are the topmost pagal are ye log. Or inme bhi, the person who is most mad in love with Krishna, madly in love is Srimati Radharani. Radhikara bhaveyache Uddhava darshane. So when Uddhava had gone there, he could see the madness of Radharani. She starts talking to a bumblebee, Brahmarageet. Such a madness. Is there anybody who talks to bumblebee? Can you imagine कोई छिपकली से बात कर रहा है, या कोई कॉकरोच से बात कर रहा है, कोई बी से बात कर रहा है, मच्छर से बात कर रहा है. No, she is talking to Brahmar. Brahmar is Madhu. There's a logic, Madhu. And what is another name of Krishna? Madhu. Madhu is the name of Krishna because he is very sweet. And she starts talking to Madhu, saying that she's talking. That's a very deep pastime. I'm not getting into it. But someday we'll be qualified to discuss Brahmar Geet. There are so many Geets, wonderful Geet. Yugal Geet, Brahmar Geet, Venu Geet, there's Gopi Geet. Yes, so like this, there are 4 Geets, very famous. We should all discuss someday to understand the mood of Vrindavan. So Radharani's bhav, this one of the, yes, of course, Gopi Geet is there, but one of the ways in which Radharani's bhav was displayed in Vrindavan is through this Brahmara Geet. So Radhikara bhaveyache Uddhava darshan. Uddhava saw that. And then after seeing the bhav of all Brajavasis, and Radharani was convinced. And he came to Dwarka and preached that this is the highest. Krishna, please understand, Dwarkavasis, the highest devotees of Krishna are Brajavasis. तो अपना फर्स्ट प्लेस भूल जाओ, हम सेकंड भी आएंगे. सेकंड रैंक से खुश रहो. फर्स्ट रैंक उनको ही मिलेगा. In that also topmost rank who will get Radharani. So all wives of Krishna, he will keep taking the names of Radharani. Please don't bother. She is the topmost devotee. So he convinced them. Sei bhave matta prabhu rahe ratri. Then that bhav which Radharani exhibited, yes, the Brahmar Geet bhav, that bhav when she saw Uddhav, that bhav is something that Mahaprabhu displayed always. Can you imagine? Radharani, we see the glimpse that she exhibited. But Mahaprabhu, Ratri Dine, day and night, he exhibited only that bhav, nothing else. So this was the madness of Krishna that Mahaprabhu exhibited in his Shesha Lila. Yeah. Now, this mood is further elaborated. So that is why what we are understanding, we first understood Krishna, then we tried to understand Radharani. Actually, Krishna ko samajhna mushkil hai. And Radharani ko samajhna aur bhi mushkil hai. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, only if you understand Radha and Krishna, you will understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So aur bhi mushkil hai. So now we are beginning to understand the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prayas kar. Okay, we are trying. So this next few verses will be the grief. See this. रात्रे प्रलापकरे स्वरूपेर कंठधरी आवेशे अपने भावान कहे उहागड़ी. So what would Mahaprabhu do in the night? That is described. रात को क्या करते हैं? हम लोग रात को क्या करते हैं? सो जाते हैं. पक्का ना? मोबाइल नहीं देखते ना? वेब सीरीज नहीं देखते ना? Yes. सो जाते हैं ना? Very good. Good devotees. रात्रे, but what Mahaprabhu would do in the night, he will not get sleep. रातों की नींद किसकी उड़ जाती है? Yes. जिसको कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम है, जीवन में कुछ लक्ष्य है, मुझे बनना है, IAS ऑफिसर बनना है, one boy who comes to our program. He doesn't get sleep in night because that fellow wants to become Air Force officer. Much Air Force officer. He will keep asking. He will not pray to Krishna Air Force officer. He says, Prabhuji, today I chanted 8 rounds. In every round, I only prayed one thing. I want to be Air Force officer. Whenever he comes to me, he says, Prabhuji, bless me. Air Force officer. Because Radhashtami thi. He said, Prabhu, you'll pray not to Radhashtami. Bola, haan, to make you Air Force officer. Bilkul, Prabhuji, how do you know? Bola, aur kya pucha hai tumne life mein? Yeah. Yes, that fellow also doesn't get sleep in the night. So when some goal is there in mind, that time you will not get sleep. And there is one more time when person doesn't get sleep. And this is something which we hear in poetries and everything. When is that? When somebody has fallen in love. Such fellow will also not get sleep. So here is Mahaprabhu, who is so much in love that Ratre pralape kari. What is pralap? To weep, to cry. He would put his arms around Swarup Damodar. Kantedari means not that he's choking him. No. Kantedari means he's embracing him and crying. Aveshe apana bhava kahaye uhagadi. And what he would do? He would speak out his heart to Swarup Damodar in separation. Nahi jamra, mujhe jeena nahi ho raha. I'm not able to live. Actually, Mahaprabhu used to tell Swarup Damodar, I have no love for Krishna. If I had love for Krishna, I wouldn't have lived. I would have died long back. But because I don't have any love for Krishna, that is why I am happily living. Mushkil hai na Mahaprabhu ko samajhna? Very tough. So he's crying and speaking in separation. That's why there was one devotee who was asking me, Prabhuji, can we read Chaitanya Charitamrta parallel with Bhagavatam? मैंने बोला नहीं. Fuse उड़ जाएगा. First complete Bhagavatam. At least 10th canto to complete कर लो. Yes. उसके बाद you can try to read. So now Swarup Damodar is such a dear devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's a very dear devotee. Now his master is crying. Will the servant be happy? अगर मास्टर दुखी है तो सर्वेंट खुश रहेगा. देख good ये दुख प्रकट कर रहा है. No. Similarly, this is now who are these two? These two are Radharani and Lalita Sakhi. Swarup Damodar is Lalita Sakhi. So whenever Radharani would feel bad, she would be crying. Who will be there to console her always by her side? Lalita Sakhi. So similarly, Swarup Damodar cannot tolerate Mahaprabhu breaking like this. He is feeling separation. He is crying in night, not sleeping. So yahi bhava uthe. Whenever this bhava arouses Prabhure Antara in the heart of Mahaprabhu, whenever this bhava comes, Sei Gita Shloke Sukha Dena Damodara. In order to give pleasure to the heart of Mahaprabhu, in order to give solace to the heart of Mahaprabhu, what will Swarup Damodar do? Sei Gita Shloke. This particular shloka he would recite. He would recite song. Ei Shloke means, okay, this some songs and some shlokas he would quote. Who? Swarup Damodar. That would give some solace. Even Nimai in the beginning of his childhood pastimes, what would happen? Whenever Nimai would cry, what others used to do? They used to chant, Hari, 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 chant Krishna's names. Then what would Nimai do? He would laugh, he would smile, he would giggle, he would become very happy. So Abhi bhi waise hi. He's just childlike. He would cry in separation for Krishna, and then Swarup Damodar will sing song. Yes. That is why. This is all from spiritual world only. When a child is not sleeping, what will mother do? Huh? Nanni kali sone chali hawa dire ana. This is what my mother used to sing. That's what I remember. Or some other lori. Soja, beta, soja. Some song to sleep. Fir neend aa jayegi usko. Something like that. So here also he needs some song. Mahaprabhu needs some shlokas in order to get some solace. Okay. Now Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami zara ecstasy mein chale gaye. Now he comes back to track. He will say something like this. Now see. अरे ठीक है वापस आते हैं. Let's come back to track. I went into a little bit antaranga bhav. Hey, come back to class. Like, very naturally he has commented. कोई दिखावा नहीं है, show off नहीं है. He's been writing what has naturally been inspired by Paramatma and his bhav. And suddenly he realized, अरे मैं तो बहुत ही last में चला गया. अब तो शुरुआत है. We are still in which Leela? Aadi Leela. Shesha Leela is going to come later. Now these all pastimes in detailed verses after verses, pages after pages we are going to read very soon. तो थोड़ा तो बात के लिए बचाना चाहिए. So he says, don't worry. Cool. ये सब विचार किचु नहीं. Don't think about all these things now because कुछ readers सुन के अरे बाप रे ये क्या हो गया. नहीं आगे यही विवर. I will systematically plant nice verses and knowledge in your consciousness so that you will be able to appreciate this. Wait. Career Vistare. In detail, I will explain later. Okay, not now. Okay, so Purve Vraje Krishnera Trividha Vayo Dharma. So now Krishna would perform pastimes and he would have some gunas, characteristics, properties, and he would exhibit attributes based on his age. His roop also, his form also would change as per his age. So three types of ages. What are they? Kaumar Lila, Pauganda Lila, and Kaishore Lila. So Kumar Lila is which age? From 0 to 5. Pauganda Lila 6 to 10. Kaishore Lila 11 to 15. Uske baad Bhagwan remains Kishore. He is eternally Kishore. Yes, after that, it's not that Krishna's old age. Krishna is coughing, all white hair. Oh, abhi, mujhe jeena nahi ho raha. Abhi mere ko jana padega. No, Krishna doesn't have this jara. Yes. Dehi nosminyata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. So yauvanam and jara, this is experienced by the one who is dehina asmin, a conditioned soul. But Krishna is not conditioned soul, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is no question of old age. Kaishore Leela, उसके बाद कौन सा लीला प्रभु जी? उसके बाद किशोर लीला continue. Krishna is eternally Kishore. Is eternally Kishore. Yeah. So Krishna, the further this Leela again is further established. The three types again, something based on that. What exactly is the basis of these Leelas? Vatsalya Avesha Kaila Kaumara Safala Pauganda Safala Kaila Naya Sukha Sakha. So in this Kumar Avastha, what was the prominent rasa? The Vatsalya Prem. So Nanda, Yashoda, they all used to perform very loving service to Krishna. And in the Kumar Avastha, this Vatsalya Bhav is something that would nourish. That was the highlight we say. Now, what is the highlight of Krishna's Kumar Leela? Vatsalya Prem. All mothers exhibiting motherly love for Krishna. Then what about Pauganda Leela? Pauganda Leela is with friends ke saath. With friends. Sakhyaras. That was very prominent in Krishna's Pauganda Leela. And you guessed it. In what about the Kishore Leela? What is prominent? Next. Radhika Dimaya Kaila Rasadi Vilas Vansha Bhari Aswadila Rase Niryas. And when Krishna comes to the youthful phase, as a youth, in the Kishore Leela, at that point of time, what is the prominent Leela? The prominent Leela that Krishna has is Radhika Aadi. Dekho, Radharani and others. That means the chief among gopis is Radharani. Even if you see Shukadev Suta Goswami, whenever there is, at who is his audience? Who is the audience of Suta Goswami? Shaunaka Adi Rishis. What we say? Shaunaka Adi. Shaunak kaun hai? The leader. And Adi matlab baki sa. There were 88,000 people. Yes, 88,000 rishis were sitting there, but one person's name is mentioned prominently. Why? He's the leader. So similarly, Krishna had how many gopis? Countless. You cannot count. Again, we discussed. Among them, who are the chiefs? 16,000. Among the 16,000, 8. Among those 8, 2. Among those 2, 1. That is Srimati Radharani ki Jai. Yesterday was Radhashtami. So Radhikadi Laya Kaila Rasadi Vilas. He performed very amazing pastimes with Srimati Radharani in his youth. Ivancha Bhari Aswadila Rasera Niryas. And that's how his youth he tasted the essence. Okay. Now, among the three Vayas of Krishna, which is the best Vaya? Of course, that which he maintains for good. That is what Kaishora Avastha. So Kishore Lila. So about Kishore Lila, certain things are mentioned in this particular shloka. 115. कैशोर वयसे कामा जगत सकला रासादि लीलायति न कलील समला. Hare Krishna. So what is mentioned here? Kaishora vayase. In Krishna's youth, Kaishora vayase kama jagat sakala. Now here there is a mention of kama. So Acharyas say very clearly why काम is mentioned. वो तो प्रेम है ना, फिर क्यों काम? Because प्रेम we will all not understand what is it. So many times kama is mentioned. Yes, the lustful glances of Krishna towards gopis. Gopis' lustful desires are awakened when they see the Krishna's glance. So why this lust word is used? Prabhuji, lust तो है नहीं ना spiritual world में, फिर why lust? Kama, why is it mentioned? It is mentioned because the nature of kama and prema is same. The magnitude, the intensity, the madness is same. That is why the word kama is mentioned. But actually we should understand this is prema. Because of that intensity, the lust is very intense, especially when one enters this teenage period. Kaishora vayase. Kama jagata sakala rasadi lilaya tina karila safal. So, it is mentioned here that the entire world, the entire creation was benefited by Krishna's so-called lustful pastimes. Got it? Loving pastime which appears like lustful pastimes. Suppose, okay, even otherwise, suppose somebody watches or meditates or listens to some lustful activity. What will happen? One's heart is contaminated. And if one is contaminated by lust, that person is unsuccessful. He's a failure. Lust means failure. You know, once what happened, there was a father. His father was waiting at home because he knew the son's report card is going to come today. So, beta report card leke aaya. And he saw the marks. He said, nonsense. Kya ye? He said, Papa, number. Kya number hai? Fail. 3-4 सब्जेक्ट में फेल हो गया. अरे देख देख लूसी को देख कितना बढ़िया नंबर लाई है. देख लूसी को देख. So he said, पापा उसको देख देख के मैं फेल हो गया. उसको देख देख के मैं फेल हो गया. Yes, usually lust is the cause of usually never. Always lust is the cause of downfall. Even in Bhagavatam, if you see the scriptures, Yayati Maharaj, hero. He was a hero, but lust towards Devyani made him zero. Pururava, hero, lust for Urvashi made him zero. Saubari Muni, actually a hero, but lust, which he decided to satisfy with marrying 50 daughters of Mandata king, made him zero. So we find in Bhagavatam that how many heroes were made into zeros by lust. On the other hand, here, what is being spoken? Krishna's so-called lustful pastimes, Jagata, Sakala, Safala. The entire universe is Safal, successful because of meditating or knowing about this Krishna's lustful pastimes. Is this normal lust then? Is this lust between ordinary boy and girl? Not possible. Otherwise, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami cannot discuss this. Shukadev Goswami cannot discuss this. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu definitely would not meditate on such things. They are all such high-class sannyasis. They would not talk. Srila Prabhupada wouldn't have written all these things. They are all saints. Vairagya, they are all discussing this. Saintly people are discussing about this apparently lustful pastimes of Krishna. So this is not mundane lust, this is love. So this is not kama, this is prema. So now next, there is a sloka from Vishnu Purana, which is mentioned. So let's read that. Hare Krishna. What is this? This is coming in Vishnu Purana. So what is mentioned? In Vishnu Purana, it is mentioned that so api, so especially he, vah, saha. Saha means he, that Supreme Lord. Api Kaishora Kavayo, in the Kishora Lila. Yes, in his Kishora Avastha. Manayan Madhusudana, that wonderful Madhusudan. Manayan Reme Sri Ratna. So he, who is Madhusudan, the killer of Madhu. Reme means to enjoy. Ramya. That word comes from what? To enjoy. Reme. So he enjoyed what? Sri Ratna. Who are the Sri Ratna? Sri means women. Sri Ratna gopis of Vrindavan. They are called as Sri Ratnas. So Sri Ratna Kutastha. Bahut logon ke saath. Not just. Kuta means so many. Reme, he enjoyed. Shapasu Shapita Hita. Sharad Ritu. Shapasu is autumn nights. Sharad Ritu ke Ratri ko. Shapitaha Ahita. And of course, such kind of enjoyment in this world is seen horribly. But Shapita Ahita means what? It will destroy all your misfortune. Because Ahit jo hai, Ahit is Ashok. Shapita, everything is destroyed just by listening to these pastimes. That is the nature of Krishna's Lila in Vrindavan, which he enjoys with his gopis. This is what is mentioned in Vishnu Purana. And let us see Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu what it says. This is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is this mentioning? Now he is giving Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami substantiating with these different pastimes the sweetness of Kishore Lila so that nobody misunderstands. Yes. Now this is something that you all can read meaning yourself. I am not going to read it. But of course, Krishna had performed some naughty pastime with Radharani. That naughtiness, I am not qualified to speak. You can all read the meaning yourself. After doing that, all her friends were teasing Radharani and Radharani was shameful. So this naughty pastime of that Krishna performed, you can see what naughtiness he did. You can all read it yourself. So that naughtiness is something which is sweet. That is Madhurya. That is the sweetness in the Leela. And this kind of Krishna and this kind of pastimes is worshipable. It is not mundane and ordinary. Next. Okay. Okay. So what is mentioned here? So this is mentioned in Vidagdha Madhav, Rupa Goswami. Again, the different kinds of literatures. So this particular pastime is telling, this is being addressed to Purnamasi. Now Purnamasi is Yogamaya in Mathura Mandal. In Mathura Mandal, she is the Yogamaya. In Vrindavan, she is Yogamaya. Yogamaya is Purnamasi. So he's saying, Madhurakshi, Madhura Akshi. Oh, lovely eyed one who has beautiful eyes. Oh, Purnamasi, Madhurakshi. Yes. Harir eha nached avatirashyat. Agar Hari idhar avatar nahi lete. If Krishna wouldn't have appeared where? Mathurasya, in Mathurayam, in Mathura. In Mathura. along with Sri Radhika cha abhavashyat, along with Srimati Radharani, then iyam vrita drisishta makara anka tu visheshatah tada atra. This Cupid will be jobless. Iska koi bhi kaam nahi rehta. Cupid, the god of love. Actually, the Cupid will be rendered jobless. Iska koi fayda nahi hai. So what is the meaning of this? Just like, for example, there's a particular story. There's a story of a boatman and gentleman. So there is a boatman and gentleman wants to cross a river. So he gets into the boat. And after getting into the boat, he says, "Bhaiya, cross, please make me cross." And as he's crossing, he takes out his mobile phone and starts talking. So the boatman is surprised. He asks, "Arey, kya hai? What is this?" He says, "This is mobile, Android phone." He says, "Android phone, wo kya hota hai? Tere ko Android phone nahi pata. Your 25% life is waste." Very sad. And then after that, he takes and he starts doing video call. He says, "Sorry, there is a person appearing from the other end and talking. What is this?" He said, "This video conferencing." Video conferencing, wo kya hota hai? So there ko video conferencing nahi pata. Your 50% life is waste. Then finally takes out a laptop to check something. He takes a laptop and he's checking something on the laptop. He says, "Ye kya hai?" He says, "This is laptop." "You don't know what is laptop?" "No, I don't know what is laptop." "Your 75% life is waste." Suddenly there is a lightning and sound of thunder. Thundering. Heavy storm. And after seeing the storm, that particular gentleman asks the boatman, "Boatman, what is this?" He says, "Storm is going to come." And what happens when storm comes? When storm comes, the boat will sink. After the boat sink, what do you have to do? He says, "We have to swim and cross." "But I don't know swimming." "You don't know swimming? Then your 100% life is waste." There are 100% life waste if you don't know swimming. So similarly, if Krishna and Radha wouldn't have come, Cupid ko koi kaam nahi rehta. See, others are all stupid. Yes, Cupid makes everyone stupid. Cupid makes everyone stupid. Yes, so stupid logon ki baat nahi kar raha. But actually the Cupid has work here only. Why? Because the most beautiful boy and the most beautiful girl are here in Mathura. अगर ये नहीं आते तो Cupid would be jobless. क्या कर रहा है आजकल Cupid? कुछ नहीं, वेला बैठा हूँ, कोई काम धंधा नहीं. That's what would have happened. That like that, who is telling? Somebody is telling to Purnamasi. Yes. And this verse actually is spoken by Tulsi Maharani, Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi is telling Purnamasi in Vidagdha Madhav. And actually Cupid has got job. Cupid ka placement ho gaya. Kyun? Because Radha and Krishna have appeared in Mathura, in this Mathura Mandal. Okay. Offering is done. And today's section is also complete. The next section, actually there are only 2 more slokas. This section will be complete. Can you complete this? 120, and then we'll close. So this section, everything is about how Krishna is Rasika Shekhar. He's the supreme enjoyer, whose enjoyment never stops. So this section is about that. The whole section is how Krishna is Rasika Shekhar, and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is meditating on that Rasika Shekhar Krishna. That's what. Because we discussed now how Krishna is Rasika Shekhar. It was discussed in the previous sloka that Prema Rasa Niryasana Karise Aswadana Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Kurite Pracharana Rasika Shekhar Krishna Parama Karuna E Dui Hetu Hoite Ichharatgama. So how Krishna is Rasika Shekhar. So now, despite Krishna being a Rasika Shekhar, Krishna bane Rasika Shekhar, lekin fir bhi unki 3 इच्छाएं पूरी हुई. Krishna came as Rasika Shekhar. He enjoyed so many pastimes, but still his 3 desires didn't get fulfilled. So what is that? Let us see. So, ei matlab purve Krishna rasera sadhana. Oh, Krishna, as beautiful, he was a reservoir of all these rasas. Rasika Shekhar. Yadyapi karila rasa niryasa charvana. But although He enjoyed these wonderful mellows with gopis, Radharanis especially. Tathapi nihila tina vanchita purna. Still his three desires couldn't get fulfilled. Three desires couldn't get fulfilled. Taha aswadite yadi karila yatana. And that's what. So in order to taste those desires, abhi kaise wo teen desire fulfill karu? How can I fulfill that? So he's going to make an attempt to fulfill those three desires by becoming Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what are those three desires? Yes. So one by one, we'll be seeing. So Pratama Vancha, Dvitiya Vancha, Tritiya Vancha. Those three desires, how they're going to be fulfilled. So like that, one by one, this discussion. So next time we will discuss first desire and we'll try to dwell upon the second desire. And the first, second, third desire is everything. This chapter is fully that only. The first, second, and third desire of Krishna. How it gets fulfilled. That is something we will see next time. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki